Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. You know how the daily news just feels like an absolute fire hose of information these days? Well, our goal today is to take those dense updates and transform them into clear, structured insights that you'll actually remember. We've got a really fascinating lineup today, jumping from the cutting edge of aerospace tech to the heart of wildlife conservation, all the way to the high-stakes world of global geopolitics. Let's dive in and see how all these moving pieces actually fit together. So, mapping out our journey real quick, we'll start with aviation and space innovations, then we'll move into protecting India's natural habitats, and we'll wrap things up with global politics and defense. All right, Section 1, Aviation and Space Innovations, pushing boundaries in the skies and beyond. We're kicking things off at Bengaluru's HAL airport, which actually just became the very first airport in India to operationalize a highly specific satellite-guided landing system for helicopters. It's called RNP-CAT-H, which stands for Required Navigation Performance Category H. Now, historically, helicopters have faced some pretty massive limitations when trying to navigate into difficult, heavily built-up urban areas or through really poor visibility. But this landmark achievement makes HAL Airport an absolute pioneer in using satellite-based precision landing paths to solve that exact problem. And the real-world impact here? It is massive. This system slashes the helicopter approach time from about 12 minutes down to just 4 minutes. Seriously, just think about that for a second. We're talking about cutting approach times by 2/3, simply by leaning into advanced satellite guidance instead of relying on older, slower visual or ground-based navigation methods. When you're dealing with civil air ambulances flying through dense cityscapes or terrible weather, saving 8 minutes is literally a race against time. It can absolutely save lives. And it's not just for medical emergencies either. This kind of tech is absolutely vital for defense operations and rapid disaster management. It lets operators land safely in tight environments where every single second counts. Staying in Bangalore for a moment, let's look at how Astrobase Space Technologies is pushing domestic space capabilities forward with their newly unveiled Everest engine. This thing is a powerhouse. It's an 80-ton class rocket engine built entirely in India, and it generates a massive 800 kilonewtons of thrust. It runs on liquid oxygen and liquid methane, often called methalox, which is pretty much the gold standard for modern rocketry today. But what really sets Everest apart is its use of the full-flow staged combustion cycle, or FFSC. This is a highly advanced, ultra-efficient propulsion tech that maximizes fuel usage. It is a huge leap forward for India's private space sector. And what's really wild is how fast they're moving. Astrobase is on a rapid trajectory, shifting swiftly from scaled-down tests in 2025 straight to an upcoming first full-scale hot-fire test at their private facility in Andhra Pradesh. It just goes to show how laser-focused they've been on bringing this full-scale Everest engine to life. Okay, shifting gears to Section 2, protecting India's natural habitats, preserving ecosystems and boundaries of nature. For this, we're focusing on Assam, zooming in on a very specific protected area, the Sonai Rupai Wildlife Sanctuary. Located in the Sonitpur district, this sanctuary sits right at the foothills of the Great Himalayan Range. It is a highly sensitive, vital ecological corridor, and it's bordered by the Rota and Kameng Reserve forests of neighboring Arunachal Pradesh, as well as the Gabwaru and Panchanoi rivers. Now, the lifeblood of the sanctuary is its water. It's sustained by 4 perennial rivers, the Dalsiri, Gabaru, Gelgeli, and Belsiri, plus a whole network of local wetlands traditionally known as beels. This rich hydrological network is literally what keeps the incredible biodiversity of the sanctuary alive. Maintaining that delicate balance of rivers and wetlands is absolutely crucial for the region's overall ecological health. So to better manage this vital terrain, Assam's Environment and Forest Minister, Jayanta Malla Barua, just inaugurated a brand new administrative hub right at the sanctuary, the Kalamati Wild Range Office. Getting physical infrastructure like this set up directly within the sanctuary is a major step for modern conservation. It basically puts boots on the ground, allowing forest officials to effectively monitor and protect this vibrant ecosystem right from its very core. Finally, let's move to Section 3, Global Politics and Defense. Key leadership and military updates from Colombia and Iran. First up, we are looking at South America. Abelardo de la Espriella was sworn in as Colombia's 36th president on August 7, 2026. And talk about a nail-biter, he secured this office through a razor-thin victory in the June 21st runoff election, capturing exactly 49.66% of the vote. That kind of margin really highlights an incredibly engaged and divided electorate. Taking office for the 2026 to 2030 term, he succeeds former President Gustavo Petro, and his administration is already promising some significant policy shifts. As impartial observers, we're noting a few major priorities here. A very hardline approach to cracking down on drug trafficking, alongside a distinct promise to reduce the overall size of the state apparatus. This leadership change is highly consequential, and not just for Colombia, but for the wider region. From a geographic standpoint alone, Colombia is incredibly strategic. It bridges two major oceans, featuring extensive coastlines on both the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea. So the policy directions managed out of its capital, Bogotá, will undoubtedly create ripples all across South America. Now, shifting our focus to the Middle East. Amidst heightened regional tensions, international defense reporting has recently zeroed in on a specific piece of military tech, the Qadra-F. This is a medium-range ballistic missile developed domestically by Iran, and its technological lineage actually comes directly from the well-known Shahab-3 missile family. And to understand why it's making headlines, you just have to look at this number: 2,000 kilometers. That is a massive operational footprint. Showcasing that kind of extensive reach places the Qadra-F as a very significant factor in regional military calculus and defense planning. But of course, the Qadra-F doesn't operate in a vacuum. It acts as a key long-range asset for Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC. It is actively deployed right alongside their other advanced systems, specifically the Imad and Khyber missiles, coming together to form a comprehensive part of the country's broader strategic missile network. So what does this all mean for us? When you connect these dots, you can see just how incredibly fast our world is evolving across tech, the environment, and global politics. We went from satellite-guided helicopters saving critical minutes to massive rocket engines pushing the private space sector into the future. We've seen infrastructure stepping up to protect critical rivers in Assam, and we've tracked major political and military shifts in Colombia and Iran. It really leaves you wondering, as we process all this data, what on earth will tomorrow's headlines bring, and how will they continue to redefine the boundaries of our world? Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer today. And as always, keep seeking out the structure in the noise. Catch you next time.